Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. Thank you for being here live. And also those who are listening on the podcast, I want to just really express my gratitude for you. I know it takes even sometimes a little bit extra commitment when you're not coming here at 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, where people kind of expect to see your name pop up on the Zoom. And it takes a little bit of extra commitment when nobody knows that you're listening to the podcast. Nobody knows that you're doing your daily gratitude practice. And so I just want to give a special shout out to those who are putting that extra commitment into doing the podcast, even though nobody knows that you're doing it. So thank you so much for that that commitment to yourself, because that's really what you are doing, is creating a commitment to yourself to be in daily gratitude every day. For today, several things were mentioned as we were doing our rounds of gratitude about restoration, renewal. Grateful for others who play some sort of a part in your restoration, nourishment of the body, mind, and soul, books, lots of things that really, writing, a lot of things that really kind of leaned toward that, all the different pieces and parts that allow us to be able to restore our souls. And even this gratitude call on a daily basis, and especially, like I mentioned, those who are listening on the podcast, that commitment that you must make to yourself to actually listen when it's not expected, first thing in the morning. So soul restoration was the words that came to me as something that would help us to be able to continue further our gratitude thoughts on this subject of, the things that I just shared. So I'm going to set my timer for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for soul restoration, and we'll see what happens. So 90 seconds, private silent meditation. Just write down whatever comes to you on gratitude for soul restoration. Begin. All right. I got up about 4:30 this morning because I know I have my master class this morning, and I had not really settled on the exact things that I was going to be sharing in my masterclass. It's on the Seven Gateways, my book, and not the book per se. It's on the Seven Gateways. I put the Seven Gateways into book form. It's not about my book for sure. It is about the Seven Gateways that are in my book. And when I got up this morning, I just was in this state of meditation of just being really open. I appreciated Laura's call last night, her A Place to Rest, her soul restoration call that she does every night. She does on Sunday through Thursday. So she won't be doing it tonight, but she will be back on Sunday evening. And with being on her call last night, I really felt my upper chakra. I can't think of what it's called right now. She can tell you. The very top one that opens up to receive inspiration. I just felt it really open up. She suggested that I visualize that there was like a dinner plate, and it just like expanded, because I was seeing it as like this little tiny opening. And when she said dinner plate, it just opened up even bigger than my head. And just, I just felt this light shower down through that dinner plate on the top of me. And there was, I feel like that was really instrumental. And then I just went to bed and got up this morning, and I just felt like that showered down had been, that light of understanding and knowledge and divine tutoring was just open for me this morning. And so all these things, even the gratitude call, all the days leading up to today, I'm super excited for my masterclass, 11 o'clock a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. If you have not registered for that, go to any of my platforms. I've got the registration link there. I know every single one of you is going to have your souls restored, and you'll have new way of thinking and seeing things if you attend that, because of the inspiration that I received this morning. So grateful for how my soul has been restored because of all these different pieces and people who have created things that allowed my mind to be even more open, my mind and heart to be even more open to inspiration this morning. Melissa, you have something.
Yeah. So I was a little late to the call, and I didn't get to share my first round of gratitude. I only did 2. And if I were to share a third one, it would have been planning, because I'm going to be planning out my week next week after this call. And I love that you said soul restoration, because as I was thinking, like, okay, what am I doing next? I'm going to be planning. I realized that when I plan my time and set aside time for things that are important to me, that I want to be important and I want to give time to, my days and weeks, they just flow so much better. And of course, I'm always open to deviation, and I have kids, so it doesn't always work out as I plan. But on those days when everything just kind of works, it almost feels like I am restoring my soul just by having my life in flow. I guess that's kind of what I'm kind of going for.
Beautiful. I love that. And when we do set, and I love what you're saying about planning, because so many times we judge ourselves if the plan didn't work out exactly according to plan, whatever. But just setting this as an intention and having expectations that you're going to, that this is the way that you choose for your life to be, but then also being willing to be in the flow. That suggests, that there's some flexibility, that there might be a rock, that the river, flowing down, there's a rock there. It's like, it's okay. I'm just going to go over this rock, or I'm going to go around this rock, or I get to, pick up a few pieces of this rock and carry it down the river with me, or whatever. That we don't see these things, like change of plans as obstacles, but they're just part of the flow, and you still have that intention to arrive at a certain place. Thank you. Christy, I noticed that you're unmuted, and I know you are new to the call. We had a private silent meditation on soul restoration this morning. Is there something you'd like to add?
Not at this point. I would just like to listen to you all.
Okay, awesome. Then I'm just going to invite you to mute. And if you do unmute, we'll know that you have something to say. Thanks, Christy.
Thank you.
Phil.
So I've been playing around with these words, soul and restoration. And to me, like, I think that we think restore means to make new again, or to go back to what was, right? And I think that there's a difference between making new again and going back to what was. I think a lot of us move forward and then we get scared and then we want to restore what was. And I don't think that's the context that that this is meant to be. I think it's unhealthy to restore what once was, but instead, to take what once was and make new, make a new thing. Like if you're gonna restore your house, if you want to restore it back to original, you're gonna find that it's almost impossible because time has happened, and so you might need to be creative on how if you're going to restore your trim, for example, then you might need to be creative on how to restore it so that you can make it new, but still use the original stuff that was there. And so that's kind of what I got out of this, is that, to restore is to make new with what you have. Take what you have and make it new. And that's
Beautiful. I have a thought that I just like to share that's slightly different, but I think it will apply. I know that Christ has the ability to restore things to its proper form and function. And, when we're resurrected, everything will be restored and inseparably together. And so as far as restoration, it's like returning to its perfect, like mint condition. I think of like restoring a car to its original. It's like from how it looked when it came off the lot in the very beginning, 50 years ago or whatever. And, when I think of like restoring the soul, it's taking it back to that mint condition before it was tainted by, all of the experiences, earth's experiences and choices and things that might have tarnished that soul a little bit, but that Christ has the ability to restore that soul to its mint condition. Melissa. Oh, Melissa, and then Robert, and then Melinda.
Sorry, I'll put my hand down. I already shared.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Robert, and then Melinda.
When you talk about restoring the soul, I kept it really simple, which would be more scriptural based, and that's to be restoring your soul as a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very, very similar to what I was sharing. Thank you.
I'm sorry I missed that part.
No, yeah. I love that. Melinda.
So Robert, she didn't exactly say that. And so, but that's what she was saying, right? And so that's also what I wanted to say. I was like, oh yeah, like becoming like a little child. And then, so that's neat how we all get on those same lines when it's truth.
Yeah.
But I also was going to share, like how other people add to that. So sometimes we get, busy in life as we're doing our to-do lists and we're following our action steps and shortcuts and just kind of, forgetting about ourselves, right? Because we're in this mode of action steps. And how you don't realize that you felt kind of like the vibration slowly leaving until someone else serves you, and then all of a sudden you feel restored. Like last night I had a friend who's on this call just send me this cutest message, and I listened to it at like 1 this morning when my when all my things were finished, and I thought I felt fine until I listened to the message, and then I just felt the smile so big on my face, you know. And I was like, wow, that really feels restorative. Like, and you know, we do that for each other. You like, all of a sudden, you know, someone will come in your life and be following their action step, and you're like, oh yeah, that was definitely what I needed. And so I'm grateful for friends like that. And I'm also curious of what Melissa was inspired to share, if she wanted to. But
She shared at the the very beginning about planning and how it allows her weeks to flow. And then she had just forgot to put her hand down. So I thought she had something else to share. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for for being concerned about that. I always want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to share that wants to. I want to mention, I can't remember who I was talking to just the last couple of days about sort of restoring that, like getting depleted. And I reminded her that in the scriptures, you know, when Christ, whenever he served someone, whenever he healed someone, it will say something like, and he immediately departed and went on a ship, or he immediately departed and went up to the mountain. And you know that when he went to the mountain, he was going to be communing with his Father and being restored. And you know, with the story about how he healed the woman with the issue of blood, and he didn't even realize, she just touched the hem of his garment, and he felt the virtue flow out of him, leave him. And so we know when he served, when he healed, there was a little piece of him, you know, some virtue that left him, and he would immediately go get restored. And I think sometimes, you know, we get so caught up in our serving, and it's joyful, you know, to serve, and we want to reach out and connect with these people, but it's just as important for us to restore ourselves after we have given. Deep T, you had something, and then Lara and Kathy and Terry.
So I was just thinking back to like when we are a child and we are born. I think we are born with everything we ever need and want while we take birth, because we are under that pure universal energy and we are born with that. But as we go through life, we have less than optimal experiences, and that is where the wounds start taking place, and we drop into a lesser frequency than our divine energy. And I am so grateful that I am learning new knowledge and doing techniques or processes that help me restore my soul, because I am so dedicated to actually find my soul matrix. Our super conscious mind knows that, you know, who we are, like my original identity, not like before I came on this earth, who I am, and you know, why did I choose this incarnation on earth, what was the purpose and what is the mission of me being on earth. So I am so grateful we have things we can do to restore our souls and actually solve that soul matrix like a Rubik's Cube. And I am on a mission for my soul matrix. I'm not leaving the earth before that.
Beautiful. Wow, how powerful. And I know that there are people who live through life and they allow these experiences, these less than optimal experiences that where we get wounded, they will allow these experiences to define their lives. And from that point forward, making choices based on these wounds, rather than based on the restored soul, that mint conditioned soul that is still inside of us. And what a wonderful and powerful mission for you to just know that I'm not leaving until I get this figured out, until I raise my vibration. And how wonderful that you found so many different ways to do that, to raise your energy and to get yourself restored. Thank you.
Yes, because the more I drop into those lower frequencies of anger, fear,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that, that actually rules my choices, my actions, and my behaviors. So I want to get
Yes.
out of that lower loop of puddle and
Mm-hmm.
just fly high, actually help myself and help others.
Beautiful. And that's where we're the happiest. Thank you.
Yes.
Laura.
I wanted to say that I appreciate what Phil was saying about that, you know, we do accumulate different experiences and, you know, like dents in the fender, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so forth, because the beautiful thing is that we don't, when our souls are restored, it is really so interesting to think about how we get to define the best of all of those experiences, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
bring them with us. And so it enhances and expands our soul at the same time that we are restored. So we're restored to the perfection of pure open energy
Mm-hmm.
within our soul, and at the same time we are expanded beyond those original bounds because of our experiences. And so really all the bumps and bruises of life, we need to ultimately, we come to a point where we bring that into the light of truth, and then the darkness is made light. And I call it the Joseph moment, right? Where Joseph in the coat of many colors. He had this incredible dream. He was favored by his father. He had I think 10 older brothers who were like, are you serious right now? You know, very jealous. And Joseph was not the wisest person on earth when he was a teenager, telling him things, you know, the way he would talk about it. But hey, whatever. He didn't deserve what came, that's for sure. But then of course they sold him into slavery. They beat him up, left him on the side of the road, sold him in slavery, told their father he was dead. So now, instead of being the favored son of a wealthy landowner, he was a slave in Egypt. And then through those experiences, of course, he accumulates even more junk, right? Where he's accused of indiscretion, put into prison. It was completely false. And on and on and on for decades, right? So that's a lot of junk. It's a lot of darkness to accumulate. And yet, he was able, through the restoration of his soul, through his relationship with God, and that isn't illuminated in great detail, but it had to have been there with how he talked. At the very moment when his dream was realized and his brothers did bow down before him,
Mm-hmm.
he said, what you intended for evil, God meant for good. And that is the moment that we all come to with the junk we accumulate. And that is when the part of our soul that is our environment, that is restored. Because our soul has 6 parts, right? It has our mind, it has our thoughts, feelings, will, body, environment, spirit, and the soul itself. And so of those parts, the environment is a part of our soul. And so I just thought that, you know, it's so good to realize that we get to take the best of our past with us and make an even better future, becoming the great alchemists of our lives.
I love that. So rather than just like restoring it to that mint condition before we came here, because that's not possible, we have all these experiences that we're bringing with us that we had in the physical experience, and it really does, it enhances. There's like, it's like what Phil was saying, it brings it into a new there's something new that's created
Yeah.
with all that we experience.
Yeah. And
Love
it's
that.
even better. It's even better,
Yeah, awesome.
And
Thank
so
you.
we have, so we get to unify all of our experience under the light of Christ.
Beautiful.
When we have true full soul restoration. And that's,
Love that.
yeah. So then it becomes expansion and restoration.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we've got a few more people that want to share, and I also, Deep T's put some things in the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. There's only pure light or an absence of light. Let's see, due to the experiences through life, I'm connecting those points of light to light up my path. Awesome. So each one of those experiences, we can see it as a light on our path and connecting those dots. I can just imagine at the end of our life, looking back and seeing all those points of light as, wow, I thought those were evil, but they actually were for my good. Really cool. Okay, so we've got Kathy, Tyree, and Robert, and then we'll move on to our permission process.
I just wanted to thank you first for the call that we had yesterday where we talked about that restoring. And there's a scripture in Psalms that says, He restoreth my soul. And that just really turns my focus to Him. And there's also a book that I shared with a friend called He Delivered Me from Bondage, I think, and it's about the atonement and how powerful that is. But one of the things that came up for me was just the opposition in all things, and how we talked about soul crushing, and how totally on the other extreme is that soul restoration. And I just really appreciate that we do need to do those things for ourselves when we've been in service of others, and it's not joyful. Then we realize that's a good time to realize that we need some restoration of our own soul before we can give again. And I just know I need a spa day.
Awesome. I love that. I love how you're seeing the connection from yesterday's call, and also bringing the atonement into it. I just really appreciate those thoughts. Thank you, Kathy.
There's one more thing that really popped out to me, and it's something, I don't know, it was just on my mind as I went to sleep last night and again this morning, and it has to do with purpose. And I feel like if we are here to learn love and service, how are we doing?
Wow. That's a good opportunity for us to do a daily check-in. How are we doing? And if our purpose here is love and service, how are we doing? Love that thought. Tyree.
So I don't know if any of you have read the book called We Are Special by Max Lucado, but that's what I thought of in the meditation, is that book. And so Eli is the maker, and he makes these little Wemmicks. They're these little wooden people, and they stick dots or stars on each other. Stars if they like what the other Wemmicks did, or dots if they didn't. And there's this little Wemmick that doesn't have any dots or stars, and so this Punchinello, who has tons of dots, asks her how she does it, and she goes, I just go see Eli every day, and I don't care what the other Wemmicks think. And so he does. And I felt like that yesterday, just talking to a couple of my favorite ladies, and they're just like speaking love to me and my truth, and I just accepted that, and I felt like Punchinello, like, hey, maybe this is true. And how restoring to my soul that was.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. What a beautiful reminder. Thank you. Robert.
Thank you. So I thought about this a little bit, maybe more than I should, but the truth is, as we scripturally to become like a little child, But we also have to remember the baby Jesus didn't save the world. It wasn't until he went through the not the adversary, the adversities of life and the pain and the suffering, which is what we as adults understand as well as a child. But it was those pains that he went through, and the, as you said, the atonement, that process is what gave and gives us the opportunity to be restored back into his presence, not the baby Jesus, because he hadn't lived to his purpose yet.
Wow, super awesome reminder of, you know, the mission and purpose that we have here on this earth, and that we become something that is capable of so much more through all of our experiences. And what a great example of.
And yes, I'm sorry, but it's going through those trials that and having the mindset of a child, of no guile, no anger towards those who, or even ourselves, who have wronged us or we've wronged ourselves. That's where the child part, I think, comes in into our soul or into our being.
I think that's
from our experiences.
I think that really is what creates compassion, because as a child, you know, we're just like, we're the center of our own universe. It's like, this is all that we know. But then as we have interaction with other people, then that the experiences that we have and what we see, you know, what we experience in others' lives, I think that really is what brings true compassion. And that was really what allowed the atonement to even happen, was that compassion that Christ had for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all of your thoughts. We're at the end of our time, but I am going to go ahead and walk us through a permission process. And I just invite you all to have your own private experience, and that after this is finished, just invite you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, and share your thoughts there, because we won't have time to do any shares after. So thank you all for everything that has been shared. I also, just because I don't want to interrupt I just feel like there's going to be just a wonderful feeling at the end that I don't want to interrupt. I just want to invite all of you, if you haven't yet registered for the masterclass that I'm going to be teaching a little bit later today at 11 o'clock a.m. Mountain Daylight Time on the 7 gateways. This call has actually been a really awesome preparation for you receiving the message that I'm going to be sharing there. So I hope that you will register. Just go to any of my Facebook groups, or my Facebook, my personal page or my business page, and you'll be able to see the registration link there. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. And just invite you to bring all of this new information in, and allow your soul to be restored. Be restored back to that mint condition where everything is eternal, where we are in the presence of God. And before we even came to earth, just remembering back to the time when all of this was just an exciting adventure, looking forward to stepping into a new world that had just been created, and a place where experiences could happen that would take this beautiful, pure, innocent, pristine soul to a much higher level. There will be people to interact with, and experiences to be had, and lessons to be learned, mistakes to be made, and joyful successes to be celebrated. All these things were possible in this physical world. And so just look back at the excitement of stepping into this wonderful place where all these experiences are awaiting us. And just allow yourself to feel that excitement once more of this physical life and everything that gets to happen here. And let go of the judgment for a moment as you're just remembering, restoring yourself back to that place where it was just an exciting adventure. And just put a smile on your face and just allow yourself to maybe even laugh a little bit at some of the things that you had judged as bad or wrong or hard or mistakes or whatever, any kind of decision that you had made about any of the experiences that you have now experienced, as you look at it from that previous state of just seeing it as an exciting adventure and all the great things that we get to experience. Because all of these things have been leading us somewhere, leading us to a place of compassion for other people, of forgiveness, learning faith, and also just feeling gratitude that we have the ability every single day to connect with our higher power, with our Heavenly Father, to with God, to know what the next steps are, to feel of His love, to feel of His compassion, to feel of Christ's compassion. And just see what the reality is right now, that all of us are on our own journey, making mistakes, doing the things that we do, receiving the experiences that we receive, and that it's all taking us to a higher place where that pristine soul will be once again restored. And along with the pristine soul, that we have these wonderful experiences that help us to be a better person, that help us to see things from a more wizened state. We can see people in more compassion because of what we've experienced. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. And first of all, listening for any limiting beliefs that might be coming up. And also listening for your inspired shortcut. What is the one most important thing you could do today as a restored soul? Going back to that pristine, eternal, divine intelligence that you began with, and also coupling that with all of the experiences that you've had, that you've gained more understanding through your experiences. And what is the one most important thing for you to do today to act as a higher being, taking that beautiful divine intelligence and coupling it with your earthly experiences? What is the one most important way that you can express gratitude for that restored soul? And what is the limiting belief that might be coming up for you right now? And also listen for the cost. Examine the cost of that limiting belief. If you have a limiting belief, there definitely is an outcome that will naturally come about because of those words that you speak, or even just the subconscious belief that is there, the limiting belief. And so what is the cost of that limiting belief? And if that limiting belief is not serving you, if the cost is too great, then you get to right now choose to give yourself permission for something different. And if you choose to give yourself permission to choose a different outcome by choosing some new beliefs, say yes.
Yes. It's hard to unmute.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. So I invite you, if you are ready to give yourself permission to choose some new beliefs, to go ahead and do that, to write down 2 or 3 new beliefs that are going to take the place of that old limiting belief and allow you to step into a new way of being, some new beliefs that will produce a different outcome, that will level you up even higher, allow you to use those experiences for not only your benefit, but for the benefit of others, and that you can move forward from this moment into having an even greater adventure here on earth, and being inspired and being inspiring to those people around you. and being utilized even more fully by God in helping him to fulfill his plan of us all having joy on earth and fulfillment and happiness and being restored to him in the end. And in a moment, we are going to end our call. So I invite you to just take note of everything that's coming to you right now. And I want to share a message that has been written in the chat. This is a new belief by Deep Tea. I am recalibrating my energy system to pure potential. So it's a powerful visual there. And I invite you all to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. Share your new beliefs there, share your thoughts, the things that have come to you. And also want to just give an invitation if anybody is needing some extra support in this area to reach out to me on askwylene.com. You can schedule a 15-minute call and would love to have that time with you to be able to help you restore your soul and recalibrate your energy system to pure potential. Thank you all for being on the call today. We won't be here Saturday and Sunday, so I encourage you to continue your gratitude practice, your daily GPS, and then we will be back together on Monday morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wylenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.